Buongiorno, good morning everyone. This is Lucrezia, your local guide in Venice. Today I'm back in St.Mark Square to tell you more about the two pillars that you can see right there behind me. I mentioned in my previous video that Venetians usually don't want to pass in between those two columns, and of course there's a story about them. Executions were usually used by the Venetian government as a sort of lesson for the other citizens, and this is why they were taking place right here in the square. More precisely, in between the two columns that you can see right there behind me. The two columns, by the way, come from Constantinople. They have been brought here in the 1200s, and on top of this one you can see the winged lion of St.Mark, symbol of the patron saint of the city. While on top of the other one, instead, this one, there's Saint Theodore. That was the previous patron of the city, before the relics of St. Mark the Evangelist were brought in town in the 9th century. However, the prisoners were usually facing the clock tower that you can see on the other side of the square, over there behind me, so they could basically see the hour of their death. Anyway, Venetians know, of course, that executions were taking place there, and this is why today they usually avoid to pass in between them, because actually we still think that this may bring you bad luck. Today I'm in St. Mark Square also to tell you about one of the masterpieces of the city, is to say the Doge's Palace, the building that you can see right here behind me. You know, this is the former seat of the Venetian government, and the very first palace was built in this area in the 9th century. This happened when the Doge of the Venetian dukedom, Doge Partecipazio, decided to move the seat of the Venetian government from the coastline of the Veneto region, from the mainland, to this area of the island. The reason why he decided to do this is that after the downfall of the Roman Empire, it had become pretty clear that it was not possible to stay there due to the barbarian invasions. So the seat of the government was moved in this area of the island, and the reason why they chose this spot in particular is that, as you can see, the palace overlooks the lagoon, so it was pretty easy to control all the ships coming in from this area. This is why the very first palace was actually a sort of castle with a square plan and watching towers at every corner. Over the years anyway, the palace was destroyed by several fires and rebuilt several times. The one that you can see behind me is mainly the result of the reconstruction that started in the 1300s and ended in the 1500s. This is the typical Venetian Gothic style, also known as flowery Gothic. Right here behind me, over here, you can see the balcony from where the Doge used to give announcements and proclamations to the citizens of the city that usually gathered right here in the square behind me. And if you look at the first floor of the palace, you can also see that it's plenty of columns, but there are two pillars which are different from the others. Over here. Those two, in fact, are red for a specific reason. You remember before I mentioned the executions that usually took place in the square? Well, when the Doge had to announce the names of those who had to be executed, and also during the executions, he usually stood in between those two pillars. The reason why they chose the red marble for those two pillars is that it had to recall the color of the blood, the color of the executions as well. In the background behind me, you can see the so-called Porta della Carta, the door of the paper, which in the past used to be the main entrance of the Doge's Palace, the one used by all the members of the Venetian aristocracy and also by the Doge to get in the palace almost every day. The door dates back to the 1400s, and it had the function to show people the hierarchy of the values of the Venetian Republic. At the very top of the door, over here, we can see a beautiful woman wearing the Doge's clothes, holding out a scale of justice and a sword. She's in fact an allegory of the city of Venice represented as the justice. Down below, in the circular frame over here, we can see St. Mark the Evangelist, the patron saint of the city, and then down below, right above the door, over here, we can see the Doge Francesco Foscari, is to say the one who commissioned the construction of the door of the paper. And we can also see that he's kneeling before the winged lion. This is due to the fact that the Doge was elected by the Venetian citizens older than 25 years old, and therefore he was considered the first servant of the Republic. This is why the Doges were always represented kneeling before the winged lion, symbol of the Republic itself. So as I said before, the function of the door was showing people the hierarchy of the values of the Venetian government. We had justice, first of all, then faith and religion, and then the Doge, that was actually the protector of these values. If you liked the video, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification icon so you won't miss any new video. And if you're visiting Venice and you would like to do a tour with me, please make sure to visit www.secretvenicetour.com and see the tours that I offer. Ciao!